Shenhe is sick and so am I, which is why I'm so frustrated that Genshin Impact dropped this banner at 2 in the morning when I have a fever of 102. Come on, guys. They basically teased the new banners, and the new banners are interesting. They don't feel like they fit, and as usual, we're gonna talk about them. Do the little notices dance, go to notices, and we see the Shenhe banner. And now, one of these things is not like the other. You've got, you know, cryo, cryo, cryo. Nobody tells Sucrose we're all gonna be cryo, okay? Nobody tell her. Now, luckily for her, she can infuse cryo, so, you know, she can still deal cryo damage. She's not completely left out. But as you can see, we have Diona, Mika, Shenhe, and Sucrose with cryo infusion. So clearly an all cryo banner, right? Now, to be honest, that's not the only thing that stands out. Here you have a character that can be used in freeze. Here you have a character that can be used in freeze. And then over here you have a character that it's not used in freeze, even though they are a cryo character. Mika is going to be a physical support unit. That's what they've told us. And though I don't have exact numbers on him right now as of making this video, it's pretty clear that he's not meant to support Shenhe or Ayaka. Now, with that said, you can use Shenhe to buff Mika's damage, but what this kind of does is it forces people that want to play Eula and that are hoping that Mika ends up being a better support for Eula to pull on Shenhe or Ayaka's banner. And to be honest, it's a little bit of an issue. He basically just doesn't really belong on this banner. I understand that his cryo damage can get boosted by Shenhe, but let's say hypothetically you're making a Eula team and you need another cryo character and you need an electro character, right? You can actually run Shenhe on a Eula team and it's decent because she can buff your burst damage with her ascension passive. But the issue is that you already take up one cryo slot with Shenhe. So that means the rest of your comp has to be an electro and a cryo, or an electro and a geo, or an electro and an animo. That's usually what you're gonna do. If you do choose to run another cryo, then you can run Mika. And basically what that means is that you can still run someone like Fischl in the last slot, and hopefully Mika's healing is going to be more than enough for what you need for this team. But whether or not that's going to be actually better damage and enough healing, it's just something we'll have to wait and see. Shenhe can buff Mika's damage, so whenever Mika does cryo damage, Shenhe's going to be activating her quills, and that could be potentially a positive for Eula. We'll have to see. But as of right now, the reason I'm not particularly optimistic is because the last little batch of 4 stars has not had decent personal damage. And outside of Yao Yao, the healing's been okay. There's been characters that can heal, but it hasn't been anything absolutely insane. In Eula teams, you already have a lot of characters available to you. You have Rosaria, which would mean that if you're running her with Shenhe, you would have to give up the healer slot. So, you know, it's not as recommendable. You just run Rosaria or Shenhe. You also have Diona, who you could run instead of Mika, and Diona's been around since the beginning of the game, so maybe you already have constellations on Diona. And Kaeya's same deal as Rosaria. You run Kaeya instead of Shenhe, not alongside Shenhe. Or, you know, you could run this character right here. If you know, you know. But basically, most of these characters, if you're running some sort of healer or shielder, you have Layla as well, you can run Fischl, and that's okay. But I think that Diona just provides so much utility that even if Mika is a great physical support to increase Eula's damage, the value you get from having shield and healing from Diona is pretty hard to beat. And if you do already have constellations and you already have a fully built Diona, unless you just really like the character Mika, a lot of people probably won't be using him over Diona in a Eula Shenhe setup. Now that said, you might do it. For all we know, it could be one of Mika's best teams and we just don't have the data or info for that. But I feel like a lot of the time in a Eula team, you're not going to be running Shenhe and Mika. You're probably just going to be running Eula, Mika, and then an Animo, Cryo, or Geo, and then someone like Fischl, because we're optimizing, baby. Basically, for support to be worth it, they have to add more theoretical DPS to a team ceiling than just running a different character altogether. We don't know how good Mika is in that regard because we don't have the specific numbers. It's possible he could be really good with this setup. I'm just a little skeptical. I do think putting him on the Shenhe banner is not as good of a deal as some people may think it is. But at least he can heal, because that means you can still run Fischl and you don't have to play Kuki, which would just be like a really big DPS loss. So there's that. Basically, my issue is that they put a physical support on the Shenhe banner, and it's basically incentivizing people to play Shenhe with the physical character when Shenhe isn't, like, Shenhe's so much better elsewhere. Like, don't force her into a Eula team. You don't have to do it. You don't have to force Shenhe into the Eula team. It's just confusing. It's just confusing. I'm kind of bummed about it, but it's whatever. If you want Mika, then this is the banner to pull on, because he's not going to be back for probably a couple patches at least, unless they like throw us a curveball, in which case that's great. Keep in mind that 4 stars do come back though. He will eventually be back, and if you're willing to wait and you don't want Shenhe and you don't want Ayaka, or if you already have both of these characters, you don't have to pull in this banner. As far as 4-star value goes, these characters are actually pretty good. Diona's a really good cryo support. She's used in freeze, and she also has some value outside of it. In Superconduct, Sucrose is 4-star Kazuha, and in some cases can be argued to be better than Kazuha with Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayers, just depending on the team and the content. So Sucrose is an amazing pickup too if you don't have her, and Mika is, well, we'll know later. Ayaka, very good character if you're looking for a good cryo carry, Ayaka's who you want to go with. She's amazing. She does her job really, really well. She's fun. She has a lot of damage. All in all, I think that the value on the banner is actually decent. It's just a matter of like, I don't know why you're here. Why are you here? You shouldn't be here. As far as the weapon banner goes, this is another case of the weapon banner is actually decent. You have Sacrificial Sword, so if you're a free-to-play player, you have Xingqiu and you don't have this weapon for him, it really fixes a lot of his energy issues. Favonius Warbow is an amazing weapon you're going to use on Diona probably, if not you're using Sacrificial. Favonius Lance is something that I think that if you don't have Calamity Queller, you just use Favonius Lance on Shenhe, and that fixes like all of her energy issues. Wine and Song is whatever, the Bell is whatever. So basically, these three weapons are all really, really good. Mist Splitter is good. Calamity is a decent weapon. Even if you don't have Shenhe, Calamity Queller is decent just because of its high base attack and its passive. So you can get Calamity Queller and throw it on someone. Now that said, do I recommend the weapon banner? Absolutely not. Not now, not ever. Unless you've already progressed your account, you know, you're 2 years into the game, you have a lot of the characters that you want, and you know, you just want some weapons. Because Mist Splitter is really good for Ayaka, and it's decent on a lot of other characters too. In particular, it's good on Kaya if you like reverse melt quick swap as well. Kuchin can use it. I mean, there's a lot of characters that can use it, right? And Calamity Queller is in the same boat. Is it best in slot on everyone? No, but it's pretty good on everyone. So overall, I feel like this weapon banner is decent. The fact that the Bell and Wine and Song are on it is basically what's telling me not to pull, or to advise you not to pull if you're free to play. But that said, you know, it's your account. You can do whatever you want. These 3 4-stars are pretty dang good, and you're going to see a lot of use for them on different characters. These 2 5-stars are decent, but do keep in mind, it's not as good of value as something like Homa, Aqua Simulacra, or any of the Elegy banners we've had in the past. I think we had an Elegy Homa banner in the past, which was crazy. Yeah, this is one of those things where I would advise that you don't pull on the weapon banner, but if you've had your account for a while, or you don't have any characters that you want coming up very soon, you could spend a little bit on the banner. These 4-stars are decent, these 3. It's something to think about. Getting either of these 5-stars isn't really a loss, so. And yeah, I mean, I guess outside of that, the 4-stars on this banner are decent. Shenhe's okay. The thing is, like, Shenhe's not bad at all. I think a lot of people assumed that creators were saying that she's bad because she's not broken, which is not what we were saying. I stand by this still. Shenhe is a luxury unit. She's slightly better than Rosaria in the teams where you can run Rosaria in, and so she is an upgrade, but you don't need her. But you can use her. It's totally fine. She's good. She does her job, and she enables mono cryo teams, so that's something to think about as well. She can make even your cryo supports deal decent damage, but she's not a character that's even close to someone like Yelan or anything. So, you know, just keep that in mind. Try not to overhype Shenhe. She's decent. She'll add to your account, but if you are just looking for the best pull value, I'm not going to recommend her. Even if you run an Ayaka team, while she's still good and she can add value to your account, she's not a character that adds so much that you absolutely should pull her for an Ayaka team. Unless, like, you just only care about Ayaka and nothing else, then I guess, you know, go for it. And then yeah, Ayaka's good. 4-stars good. 3 of these 4-stars good. 2 5-stars good. It's a good banner. Anyways, that's basically the video. If you guys have enjoyed, leave a comment down below. Let me know who you're pulling for and who you're excited for, and I'll catch you guys next time.